everybody?
welcome to Beauty Tainment Podcast with your host, Claudia. You can find me at Vanidosa Beauty.
And Lee Boy Savage right here
And-
on Instagram.
And we're on episode 4.
Yep.
Like 4 episodes down.
Right before Christmas. This won't be out before Christmas, so you'll be hearing this after Christmas, probably before New Year's. But Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas.
And all the other holidays, I
Yeah.
guess, that we've missed, you know?
Right?
I'm kind of ready for it to be over.
It came up quick, man. It just
You were
creeped
just
up
saying that
on
this
us.
morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a Christmas tree up.
Yeah, I don't think, at this point, I don't think it's going to happen.
Nah, our poor kids ain't getting a Christmas tree this year.
They're getting a gift
Yeah.
of sorts.
It's one of those years. It's just fucking boom.
I feel like we were just kind of thinking about Thanksgiving and like the schedule and stuff, and then like, oh, hi, I'm Christmas, I'm here.
Yeah, it just came up quick, man.
So, just to jump in on it, Roundy, I'm just gonna go ahead and just launch myself into today's episode.
Let's do it.
Okay, so guys, today we're talking about losses, right? So, we've been in business for about 12 years,
Yeah.
and I always one of my favorite quotes has always been, "It takes 10 years to become an overnight success."
Yeah, for sure.
Right? We're not where I want to be. I know we're not where you want to be
Not at all.
at all.
Nah.
But it has taken grit. It has taken like a lot of work, right?
Business is not for the weak-hearted or weak-minded. That's for sure.
No, and
Nah.
it takes a toll, and there's a lot of losses, and then there's a lot of lessons that you have to learn. And none of them are easy to go through, to be honest.
Nah, what is it? Edison failed 1,000 times, or what was it? Like 10,000
10,000 times to get it one right or
to
something.
get one right, and that's the truth right there with business.
And I feel like a lot of the lessons too, you have to learn more than once.
That's what life in general. But
Yeah.
you add business in there, and it's just an extra thing to add to your life. You know what I mean?
And I feel like one of the things that people don't talk about, especially, and I don't know, I guess I can't say especially, but I guess both ways, when the toll it takes on your relationship,
Yeah, it's
that's gnarly.
yeah. It is. Well, like I think people have a perception that like because they see us on Instagram, it's but this wasn't always like this.
And listen, we capture the good stuff.
Yeah, we capture the good stuff. You guys don't see the battles, and you don't see the previous years where we went through it.
But we're a lot better. We work a lot better now. But previously, like, it was a battle. It was like a constant battle to like be around each other.
Yeah, I think we for a while we were really distant with each other, and
Yeah.
we almost became just roommates for a while.
Yeah.
And relationship took a toll,
Hmm.
and there was a time there where it didn't look like it was gonna last.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah. And I think for my part, I can tell you that I was so into the business. This is before, of course, you came on fully,
Yeah.
but I was so ingrained in being a technician and in what I was doing, and I didn't see anything outside. It's like I was in a bubble, and it wasn't a good bubble,
Yeah.
especially because when you come up from, I don't want to say not having anything, but when you come from having very little to having a lot more than you're used to, it creates ego, right? It's like that saying that we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
When you succeed quickly, you
Creates
create
ego.
it creates ego.
Yeah.
When you when you succeed slowly,
Mm-hmm.
it creates character.
Yeah, and I think also too when you have a bunch of people around you, just people telling you you're so awesome, this and that,
Mhm.
because it creates a bigger ego. You had an ego there for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was all ego, and it was, and it's different from confidence.
Mhm.
Ego and confidence, I don't think are the same thing, and I've learned that now.
Yeah.
But if you're in this bubble, and you know how they say, like, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, whether I put myself there, and I'm not saying like, oh, but you want people that you can learn from and that have a high moral standing, that are doing better than you, that can tell you when you're doing bad. And so when you don't have that around, that creates ego. And when you're around shit and you step on it, you're gonna get shit on your shoes.
That's true, and you got to be challenged. If you don't have people around you that are challenging
That's
you,
what it is too.
you're in the wrong environment because you don't grow unless you're being challenged.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I know for me, there was years, and looking back at it now, there
Mhm.
was years where maybe my craft got a little better, but sometimes even that was stagnant to me, and I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
But I think it was a whole, like, it was what would you call it? It was like a whole atmosphere
Yeah.
around me at that point.
Yeah, and it created, I think, a resentment on both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
I know I was feeling a little resentful towards you, and it was going vice versa, and we just weren't taking each
Like
other's.
we couldn't even talk to each other for a while.
Nah, it wasn't. And then to be honest, like I was in construction, so I was working hard every day, like with my body, and I didn't know the intricacies of what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was just like, oh, she's just over there hanging out with her friends and tattooing little eyebrows and shit. So I didn't respect the work that went into it all the
Yeah.
time. So to me, I was like, how do I explain it? Like
A mini patootie?
no. I didn't value what you were doing to the point you were doing it.
As a business,
Yeah.
in a sense.
Because I was on the outside looking in, and
Right.
I'd come and help and dabble, and I had suggestions. But since I wasn't in it, and you had such an ego, you weren't really taking my suggestions, so that created a little bit of resentment.
To be fair, your suggestions were not suggestions. They were like, do this, do that. And I was like, dude, I barely even had time to eat today. But that was because, like you're saying, you didn't know the intricacies of the business and you didn't know how packed my schedule was.
No, I had no idea. To be honest, I never really did office work or like computer work and all that type of stuff. So it was all physical labor, construction,
Mm-hmm.
So when I came in
And
I'm
being around men.
being around men, yeah. So I didn't know how to communicate with women on a women's level like that as far as work.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we talk shit to each other and like we kind of break each other down to motivate each other, and that doesn't work with women.
It does not.
I learned that the hard way, Like,
yeah.
Like we thrive through criticism as men, and
Yeah.
women
yeah.
do not, and that was a hard lesson for me to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the memes you and your friends send to each other.
Yeah.
You can't really do that with women. You can't be like, bitch, you fat.
Nah, but like men, we talk shit. Like,
right.
like, bro, you're stupid. Like, you can't do that with women.
No.
And
No.
and
We're
I,
more sophisticated than that.
and I communicate with you like as I did with my boys,
right. Right.
And that was that took a toll. And
Yeah.
I really did not realize how hard your job was. I didn't.
Yeah.
So when I got in here, I get more tired working on the computer all day than I did construction. And that fucking blew my mind. It blows my mind still.
Yeah. Yeah. And even me that I've been doing it for so long, like it's still it still takes, I don't want to say it takes a toll on me, but it still is, it's difficult, because
Yeah.
especially for a woman, especially for a mom, when you have children, like you want to be everywhere 100%, and as a wife.
Yeah.
And so you want to be everywhere at 100%. And so when a small fraction of that, which is, my work,
Mm-hmm.
is not valued, it creates resentment.
Yeah.
And so I think you and I had a big issue in communicating. We just didn't communicate right,
always huge. We became adversaries for a while.
Yeah.
Instead
yeah,
of being
totally
allies
felt
and
like
working
that.
together, we were
Mhm.
kind of like on guard with each other all
Yeah.
the time.
But-
That
sorry.
created a lot of turmoil,
Yeah. But I will say I will take responsibility. Like I created the environment that I was in, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And so now, and you've seen it in me, like now the people that are around me, like if I see I always tell everybody, if I see a pink flag, I'm out. I don't even wait for that red flag.
Yeah. You're quick to cut somebody off. now.
I'm quick. Like if, I don't know if you remember, I went to get a pedicure one time.
Uh-huh.
And so there was this gal, we got along. So we ended up getting a pedicure together. And she says to me, "Oh, you're so lucky."
Mm-hmm.
Never talked to her again.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah, well, I mean, like this is not luck. It takes
Yeah.
a lot of fucking work, and it's daily work, and it's a grind,
yeah.
and it's and I don't even use the word hustle because I don't hustle. Like I work and I set goals, and
Dedication.
it's dedication and it's consistency.
No, for sure.
Oh my God. And so I remember, and I talked to you about it at that time. And so I went to go get the pedicure, and I was like, oh man. First of all she was doing was complaining.
Mhm.
Already, you're fucking with my energy, bro.
Yeah.
Like I can talk with you about a problem,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to bring me a solution.
Oh, I remember what you're talking
Remember?
about. Yeah. It's clicking now, it's
Okay.
clicking.
And all she was doing was complaining about her husband and shit, remember?
Yeah.
And so there's a way, I think, to do that, but not by like, to me, if you're putting your spouse down and, he's so this and he's so that, and like, I don't know. It's just like the energy for me, I was just like, this is not for me. And so I was like, I don't think we're gonna hang out again. And so I haven't seen her since then.
Oh,
That
but
was like years ago.
if you're just around negativity, it's gonna have an effect on you.
Yes, yes,
It's going to, no matter what.
exactly.
And I think there for a while we were in negative environments.
Yeah, and we were producing them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, for
like,
sure.
I try to be as self aware as I can now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I could do better, but I created that negativity too.
Yeah.
And then when you have followers,
Mm-hmm.
fuck, that shit fucking just exponentially gets worse.
Yeah, and relationships are hard anyways.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship, you guys know it's hard. But add business to it and add money, like money concerns and you're
And two
losing
different
money
ways of
doing stuff.
doing
Yeah.
stuff and managing money and managing kids and managing life. That shit is hard.
It takes a toll, and I see it. We have a couple friends that do business together, and we know a lot of couples, and you could see the stress, and we were there, so we know it, and we recognize it, and we've gone through it. It's communication. Like
yeah.
there's a what book is it that we read?
The Gottman method.
The Gottman method,
Gottman.
something like Gottman. You guys should look that up because man, it's not only for relationship. It just teaches you how to communicate, and communication is fucking everything.
And I think that's what we were saying. Like, we didn't know how to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So sometimes you felt criticized, and then sometimes I felt criticized, and it was like the other person's like, I'm just talking to you, but we just didn't know. And at the same time, you and I are very much, I think, leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So we thrive in leadership positions.
Mm-hmm.
So in a relationship with business, one of us with whatever we're doing has to take just one step back.
Yeah.
And I think that one step is so difficult for you and I. We're getting better at it.
Yeah.
But like sometimes it has to be like, okay, well, you got this. I'm going to be your wingman. If you need something, you let me know what to do.
Yeah, because I think it feels sometimes when you have to like take a step back and let the other person take the lead, it feels like a failure. It feels
Okay,
like
yeah.
it feels like you're being submissive, and I don't think either of us are submissive people.
No.
So there was battles there. you
Yeah.
know?
But
Yeah.
I think now it's a mindset thing.
Yeah,
you know?
we still have issues. I mean, we still battle, but we learn how to get out of it and
Yeah.
not hold on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for me, one of the things that I've learned is just what you said. Like now I don't see it as submissing or like, because, okay, I like control a little bit.
Yeah,
okay?
you're spicy as shit. Too.
And I'm
Yeah.
spicy as shit. So I'm better now. I was just telling you, like, I need to find out some like relaxing mechanisms.
Yeah.
But now, so what I do now, it's like what you always tell me, it's a mindset thing. So now it's like, okay, just because somebody else is doing it, it has nothing to do with you. But
Yeah.
just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean it's not going to get done
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's okay to let go.
Yeah, and you have to remember, like
Mhm.
when you're in a relationship or business, both you guys have the same interests. Both you guys want to go to the same place. There's just
Mhm.
different ways of doing it. So when somebody's coming with a different perspective, they have the same value, the same goal, and you just have to kind of accept it as that instead of looking at them as a adversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think one of the things that also really helped us was like how we have our Monday meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So we delegate responsibilities to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then we discuss who would be better for them.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we need to get better at now is
Mhm.
like, okay, once we delegate those things,
Let it go.
let it go.
Let it go.
And we both do that shit.
Yeah. We're both looking over each other's shoulder. Is she doing that? Is she
And I'm
fucking-
like, hey, so what's going on with this thing and that you were supposed to do? But we do.
It's like, get the hell out of my office, goddamn! Let me do it.
Yeah, that goes both ways.
Yeah. I know it does.
But we don't. But we both do it, and so
Yeah.
I think that's what we're. But our communication now is so much better,
Yeah.
and I think coming back to that book, one of the things that I've learned is to apologize first. Just as soon as you like something happens, I'm gonna say I'm sorry, and then let's figure it out because that automatically like diffuses the situation.
Yeah, you're better at that. I have to take some
Mhm.
time.
There's
to,
an adjustment period.
Yeah. And then another thing, you know what I used to do
hmm
is I was getting into, I got into the business books and all that first and the mindset books.
Yeah.
And I was reading this stuff and it was clicking in my head and I was trying to like force feed it down your throat.
Mhm.
And force feeding anything down somebody's throat, they're never going to be receptive to it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, she's not listening to me. She's not taking this. And then you get resentment,
Yeah. And I think because at that point it wasn't a discussion.
Yeah.
It was just like a direction.
Yeah.
Like this is what you do. This, do that.
Mhm.
You know. And so had we had a discussion about it, because I'm a reader too, you know, so I probably would have been like open to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like would I have been open? Was I in that mindset?
I don't think you were, but maybe
But
had
now
the
we won't
approach
know.
had the
Yeah.
approach been different. But now we kind of like the communication got better. We're still working on it,
Mm-hmm.
and you could always get better at communication. And if you could communicate better with your spouse, you could communicate better with the outside world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we get at that time, I think we were getting a lot of, I don't want to say negativity from each other, but we weren't getting a lot of positivity. And so now I think I give you positivity and it rises you up, and you give
Mm.
me positivity and it raises me up, you
Yeah.
know? So we have changed that dynamic between us.
Yeah, Gottman method.
The
Telling you.
Gottman method, yeah.
Gottman method.
Gottam.
I don't remember how you spell it, but
Yeah.
Google it, it'll come up.
Just Googleize it.
Yeah.
But man, that book we went through, we listened to it, and then we
Mhm.
had the actual book, so we were reading it and back and forth. Like, I think that saved us.
Well, it takes effort. It's just like business. It takes fucking effort. Every day you got to wake up and put effort towards your business. It's the same with the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have the two combined, it's double, triple times the effort. So it takes effort every fucking day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's this statistic that I had looked up that I keep fucking up, but it says that 85% of the couples that go into business stay together.
Because
I think it's for a lot of reasons. I think it's
Yeah.
for a lot of
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
I think one of the reasons it just becomes more difficult to separate. Honestly, right? Like you and I right now, I think we're so interdependent
Mhm.
in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think that you can't do stuff that I can't do, and I don't think that vice versa.
Well, all my money's tied up with you, so I can't go nowhere.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why
Yeah.
the divorce rate is so low. But I think like I don't know. I think it's a good thing, you know, like I need you for certain things and you need me for certain things. And
Yeah.
your creativity helps me a lot. And I think staying on task and creating a list and like those
The
the organization
Yeah,
helps you
yeah.
because like those are things that we see that we can help each other with.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think once you concentrate on the positive, then you open yourself to learning to speak to each other better.
Yeah. So that was one of our failures, though, in the past. You know,
That was one.
but a lot of lessons were learned from it, and it's like business. If you don't keep pushing forward, you're gonna give up, and you're gonna fucking let the business go. And the same with the relationship. If you don't get past like the hurdles and put some effort
For
into
sure.
it, you're gonna give up and just walk away. You know?
And it's like everything else, consistency and communicating with each other, consistency and like acknowledging each other's work.
Yeah.
And then we got into what is that called? The love
Well-
method? No, the love language.
Oh, love languages.
We
yeah,
got
yeah,
into
yeah.
that too for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was really helpful because I was like, oh shit, you mean you like this, but I don't feel this is not my love language. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're not disconnected, but we're not like finding each other at a crossroad because of it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
because I
saying?
need to talk to you in your love language. You need to talk to me in
Yeah.
mine. And what is it, like 7 different ones? Or I
Yeah,
forget.
I think it's 7.
Yeah.
And so we were like, that was for me anyway. I didn't even know that had existed, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm not like, you know, one of those people
Mhm.
that looks up like a bunch of love shit. But I think when I discovered it, I was like, oh my God, that's like totally me. And oh my God, that's totally you. Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know?
It helps. You gotta. I mean, it's effort.
But we fucking tried because I was like, I will not fail at this relationship.
Yeah, there for a while though. It got rough. It got rocky.
I
and
think when
rough.
we got here, it was like, okay, there's there's nothing outside but you and me. We don't know anybody. So it forced us to come together, which I think we needed.
And we were more intentional with our time and the way we talked to
That's-
each other.
yeah.
And because we were at a fork in the road, you know.
We were very much in a fork in the
So if
road.
we didn't become intentional with the way we spoke to each other, the way we spent our time,
Hmm.
it could have went the other way easily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think it just takes one decision
yeah,
and it could have gone either way.
yeah, for sure.
But luckily we're still here and you still have me.
Yeah. So lessons like failures. Don't be afraid to fail, because failure is honestly the best teacher in this world,
Yeah.
and you learn lessons from every failure. And I think relationships is everybody's gonna fail in relationships.
Sure.
It's just, are you gonna get through that and like turn it around, or are you gonna give up?
And try to become self-aware. I think one of the things that I've learned from that
Mm-hmm.
is being self-aware. I've told you, like, anytime I have a hurdle or anytime I have difficulties, I talk to myself.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is, to me anyway, when you're not self-aware and you have all these yes people around,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking to yourself and you're lying to yourself and you're telling yourself things are okay when they're not.
Yeah, and you start justifying shit that you're
You
doing.
start justifying shit that you do.
And then you have people around you that are feeding into that justification.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So honestly, like from back then, there's only my bestie that I talk to
Yeah.
now, and you know, it's she was always like a positivity or whatever, but you have to be able to listen to the people that will confront you and tell you when you're wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's self-awareness, man. Like, I think now I want to become more self-aware, but I think I'm a lot better now. So now I like really think like, does this go with my values? Does the way I'm thinking, does the way I'm thinking go along with my values?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, okay, well then I need to have a conversation with myself or
Mhm.
even with you about what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and these lessons would have never happened had we not failed.
Right.
Like, you know,
Because I was a failure. I think so.
I think both of us in our own ways were failures, you know?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't showing up like I was supposed to show up, and you know, and
And I
kid was in
wasn't receiving it. And,
it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was that. I think that's been our biggest failure and our biggest lesson that we've learned, that like is more than business, but it helps in the business too.
Yeah, and
I
I think that in effect brings us better relationships all around,
yeah,
and it helps us talk to people better.
yeah,
Just understanding how to talk to between you and I.
yeah, for sure. If you guys are hearing stuff in the background, we have our 2 kids. It's Christmas break, so if they're being loud, I'm picking them up a little bit. So if you hear that, it's just our little munchkins.
I'm just
back there.
blocking them out.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we'll move on.
Yeah.
Along. So
Look at
anyway,
you about to cry.
I was about to cry. So another thing that I think that we did going into the business part of it, another thing that I think we did for a long time was setting up ourselves as a sole prop.
That was a big failure, operating as a sole prop for so long.
Operating as a sole prop
Huge
is
failure.
the worst.
Yeah.
Is the worst.
If you're operating as a sole prop, get a CPA, learn, and get incorporated, because you're losing so much money and you're holding yourself back from scaling and growing so much. Like sole prop, that's probably one of the worst things you could operate as.
And so I talked to Cassie, which is our bookkeeper, and she does mention like up until you get to 100,000, well, you should have an LLC, period.
Yeah.
So we are an S corp. After you make 100,000, it's recommended that you go into an S corp. So her and I talked about that. But you should not be operating as a sole prop. You should be operating as an LLC at the very minimum.
Well, operating as a sole prop too, you can't get business credit.
That was my main thing.
Like
yeah.
had we been operating as a corporation, like from the beginning, like when we did the school, we could have funded that school with all credit. You know what I mean? Instead of using our own money, and we lost all the money. But had it been credit, we would have walked away and still had our money in our pocket. You know?
Yeah, and so at that point, we were operating all cash, right?
Yeah, and that was dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah. But again, I think it goes back to like what you and I have talked about, and we talked about this podcast before. We didn't have anybody really telling us like, here's a blueprint of how to do things, or our parents or anybody. I think the only business people that we knew were doing illicit business, so we couldn't really ask them like, hey, how are you like doing your taxes?
Yeah, we didn't know shit. I think Robert Kiyosaki, with the Rich
Man Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. That like changed our mindset a little bit, and we started veering in the direction we were supposed to. But it was kind of already late in the game when we learned that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're doing it right now, so I don't know if it was late in the game, but I definitely wish we would have learned about that earlier.
Well, we would have been a lot further along in our business.
Oh yeah.
Like had we been operating and learned this stuff previously,
yeah,
we would have been a lot further along.
Yeah, and I wish like. I don't even know how we ended up turning. I don't even know how long we've been in a corporation for, but
4 or 5 years at least.
No, longer than that.
I'm saying at least.
Yeah.
That.
I definitely wish we would have done it sooner though.
Yeah, we just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, and if you don't seek out the knowledge, you're never gonna know.
Yeah, and so I think going back to Robert Kiyosaki, he mentions this a lot. Like, so he's like 1,000 years old, right? So when he was doing when he started in business. There was there was no YouTube, of course.
Nah.
There was no coaching.
Nah, there was no
there was
Google.
people there was no Googles.
Yeah.
And you had to like, if you're doing business in China, like you had to like find a connection.
You had to fly
out there, talk to them in not your native language, you know? And so that's how things were done back then. This is like in the 70s or the 60s, right?
70s, 80s, somewhere like
yeah,
whatever.
And so even 10 years ago, 12 years ago, um, YouTube wasn't what it was. Instagram, all these things weren't what they were now.
Yeah.
So now you find exponential amount of information.
Hmm.
So now there's like no reason for you not to know, I think.
Yeah. Well, even like if you look at like the musicians, the rappers, and all that, back in the '90s, the
Mhm.
'80s, they were getting fucked on money because they didn't know how to operate as a business.
Yeah.
But man, these artists now are so much more business savvy. They're creating like empires, you know, and they're
Mhm.
getting paid because before they all ended up broke.
Yeah. And so I think that lesson was a really expensive lesson to learn, but we learned it,
Yeah,
you
we learn,
know?
but like I said, when you fail, it's a good thing because then you learn your lesson. But if you don't learn your lesson, then you're gonna keep doing the same shit over and over and over. You know?
Yeah. And so I think that it takes us back to being self aware.
Yeah,
Like you have to say, okay, this is not working, or I don't know anybody who can help me with this. Let me figure it out. Don't just keep making the same fucking mistake over and over.
yeah,
Because trust me, that's stupid. You stay stagnant. It's just like, it doesn't take you anywhere.
yeah.
So if you become a little self aware, you don't know how to do that, search it out, dude. Like there's so much information out there that there's no reason for anybody to be fucking dumb,
No,
honestly.
well, stop googling the Kardashians and shit. Google some business shit.
What
You
do you
know?
have against the Kardashians? No, but you're right.
Yeah, or watching what you're watching on Netflix, a fucking Love Island or whatever the fuck you're watching. You know what I mean?
He says that, but he likes that show. Okay, that's the one show that we do watch.
Yeah, we'll watch that shit once in a while.
Okay.
But like you have better. There's better ways to spend your time. You know?
Okay, and the Tiger King.
Oh, the Tiger King was a shit.
Okay, everybody watch the Tiger King. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I mean, you gotta have your little guilty pleasures, you know?
I think that was my guilty pleasure right there.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
That dude was a shit.
Oh my God, that dude was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Free the Tiger King.
How'd you want to dress like? What was her name? Carol. Or what was her name?
Carol.
Was it Carol
Carol.
or Karen?
Carol.
Oh,
Because remember, I just saw that meme.
Uh huh.
What did it say? I would sing you a Christmas song, but I don't like carols.
Oh yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. But
anyway,
anyways,
I find it
the information's out there. You guys just gotta go look for it. Stop wasting your time and stuff on stupid shit. If you need to learn something, go find it.
Okay, and okay, so that takes me to my next point. Another
Mhm.
thing, spending money, right? Okay, so you just said if you don't have information, go look out for it. Go look for it.
Yeah.
We didn't have the resources. We didn't have the information to know where to put our money. So
Well,
what did we do? We spent it.
Well, you're talking to like two ghetto kids that grew up fucking in the hood. And what do hood people do when they first get a little bit of money? Like we
We
were hood,
spent it.
we were hood rich, you know.
Remember you bought that grill
What girl?
for your teeth
I never bought no fucking grill. Don't start. I ain't fuck.
and a
I-
fucking medallion. I'm just
You better stop it. I ain't fucking wearing no shit like that. But we were hood rich, so you
Uh-huh.
start spending, you start buying. You're able to buy shit that you never bought before. Go to restaurants and shit that you know.
and it was stupid things, right?
Yeah.
It was like trips to Target
Oh, we would go to fucking Target and fucking.
every weekend.
We were popping tags in Target.
And of course we had kids, so it was like, oh, let's get them this, let's get them that.
Oh, I never had that when I was a kid. Let's get them this.
Yeah.
We were like pushing our fucking childhood onto them with the shit.
And
we
they're
got
like, I don't like it. You'll fucking like it.
Right?
You spend money on it.
But when you're hood rich, you're from the hood, and you get a little bit of money, you kind of go a little crazy, and
Yeah.
we wasted so much money that could have been
So much fucking
that
money.
could have been put to better things and to further our business. That was another huge mistake we made, and
Yeah.
but also we learned lessons from it. When you spend all that money, you're up and you spend all that money, and then the time gets slow, and you're like, "Fuck, how am I gonna pay rent? How are we gonna do this?" It's a lesson.
It's a lesson. I think we didn't put our money away for rainy days.
Nah,
We were like, I don't think I was even taking trips at that time because I was so super busy. But it was just like stupid shit. I don't even remember what.
probably eating out. That's probably where
Oh
most
man, we're fucking food, dude.
fucking
we
breakfast,
love food.
lunch, dinner. We were just fucking
Yeah.
We were eating out like fucking. Even when we moved to San Antonio, when we first moved, we kind of slipped back in because it was fun. You know, we just, a
I
new
don't-
city, get to explore. It was cool though.
But you know what? Okay, so okay, I'm gonna say that ties in. We were going on a lot of lunch dates.
yeah.
So I don't regret spending the money eating out when we got here because honestly, like we were getting to know each other
we
again.
needed it.
We needed it.
Yeah, because in California, before we moved here, we weren't like how we said we got intentional with our time and intentional how we spoke with each other and everything. So moving here was a huge fucking deal with our relationship and helped us work what we had to work out, you know?
Yeah, and I think like a lot of the failures, like the cosmetology school that we talked about, where we lost $250,000.
Yeah.
Um, we left we left those failures and brought the lessons with us, and try to do better out here. So that first year, we did spend quite a bit of money on food, but it
Mhm.
was so fucking fun, babe.
It was fun, but had we, put still a little bit less, went from 5 days a week to 2 days a week, we could have put a little money away.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But again, like, honestly, I regret all the money we spent back when we were in California, but the
Yeah.
money that we spent here that first year, and
Mhm.
it was really only the first year we went crazy with
Yeah,
the money
yeah,
in San Antonio. Um, I don't regret it. We had so much fun. Like even looking for a cool restaurant, we were like, "Oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" So like it was a bonding opportunity for you and I.
yeah.
You know?
It was good, but like you said, in California, we were hood rich for a little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to act with money, so we just started fucking DVDs. Remember how much money we used to spend on DVDs?
Yeah.
Oh man, we were buying like fucking DVDs galore. And where are they? Where's all those DVDs at?
I don't know. I think the kids scratched it. We
They're
a bunch
fuck-
of them are in the fucking trash, right?
They're fucking gone. We used them like frisbees.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gone.
That
So
was good times.
like come up with a plan, a financial plan, figure out where to put your money, invest it. I started getting into crypto. That was we did good with crypto and it got
Yeah,
us through a lot
yeah,
of
that
shit.
was your thing. You
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really like doing that, and I think that goes back to you being so creative,
Yeah.
like where you kind of look outside the box and you're like, oh, I like this shit, and then you make it work, you make
Yeah.
it profitable. Um, yeah, but I'm not a person who spends money on like purses or shoes or shit like that.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you tell me this $20 tacos bomb,
Yeah.
give me 5.
I like the food. I like gadgets a little bit. Me and my
You do like
My little
a bunch
gadgets.
of gadgets.
little gadgets, but not nothing crazy. You know what I mean?
No, but they add up.
But definitely lesson we learned the hard way, and now we're implementing what we learned from the failures, and it's so much fucking better.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the money, what we do now, we do the pay yourself first method,
Yeah.
which is essentially having 4 different business accounts, and you guys have to look into it. I absolutely love doing that, but it's 4 different bank accounts, and so you divide your money up into certain percentages, and so you always have to pay yourself, and then from that's kind of like your play money in a sense.
Yes.
And
So-
then another thing before I forget, another thing that we also did do was the whole life.
yeah, the whole
insurance?
life insurance.
And so you're the one that found the book that kind of started opening us up to that.
Well, it was podcasts, and then I started reading books, and I started getting really heavy on like investing. You know what I mean? And figuring out ways to invest the money to get some. I wouldn't call it passive income. I don't think there's no such thing as really passive income. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who
But
wants to be passive income? You want to have fun with your income. But I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to learn how to invest for myself. I don't want to go pass my money off to somebody else and have them in control of my money. Because if they lose it, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. And
Yeah.
if I lose it myself, I could only blame myself. I can't blame somebody else. So I wanted to learn how to invest for myself. So I started getting into crypto, and then I started looking at the life insurance policies and how to use that as what do they call it? Infinite banking?
The infinite banking
Yeah,
system.
infinite banking system. And man, that's fucking, you guys got to look at that. Infinite banking is the fucking way to go.
And so the book is What Would the Rockefellers Do?
What would the Rockefellers do? And then there's farming without the bank. There's quite a few people that preach that system, but that system is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I really like Farming Without the Bank by
Joanne, no.
not Joanne. We'll have to.
Oh man, I hate that word. Fucking.
I know. You guys have to look it up. Farming Without the Bank, but it's not about farming. But she specifically helps farmers. But it is essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I specifically like that one because it has a bunch of graphs and numbers, and it gives you like something really solid to look at.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, like I was kind of hesitant about that because it's unconventional.
Yeah.
But again, your creativity kind of brought us to this, and I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I trust you with this. That you're doing the best for our family.
Yeah. And then fuck, I wouldn't do it any other way. I'm gonna fucking insurance policies on the kids, insurance policies on the fucking employees.
And if
I
we
want
had
insurance
cats on the
policies on
dogs.
everybody. That's where I want my money to go. Insurance policies, and for tax purposes, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
You guys got to read that book and just get into that shit.
Walmart has life insurance policies on all of their
That's
employees.
well, that's what the banks and all the big
Yeah.
corporations do. On all their CEOs, everybody, they take out life insurance policies, and it's like hedging. You're able to borrow again. It's a whole strategy. It's too much to get into. And
Yeah, but
explain.
you guys should definitely look it up. There's a bunch of stuff online too
Yeah,
on the YouTubies and stuff.
yeah. But definitely, your money. Get smart with your money because that's a hard lesson. And you deal with money every fucking day. If you don't learn how to operate with
Mhm.
it, I mean, it makes your life so much fucking harder if you don't learn it.
And I've know it's like beating a dead horse, but the cosmetology school, I would say that was our biggest financial loss. But what I will tell you that I got out of it, you will see who is on your side.
Yeah,
You will see who's on your side.
for sure.
Um, man, we tried to make that thing work. We really, really fucking did. We spent everything we had on it,
Oh, we were scraping pennies out of the fucking couch to make that shit work.
literally.
Yeah, and we were so fucking close. So
We were really
fucking
close. But at the same time, you know, I now I kind of say like I don't know how successful it would have been because I don't know if I was ready
Yeah.
for that responsibility. One,
Hmm.
I don't know if I wasn't creating systems yet.
Nah.
And I didn't understand how systems are made to run any business,
Yeah.
even a tiny business.
Yeah. I think with the school, we got a fucking education in business, a
Hmm.
hard education and expensive education, but that's what we got out of it.
Yeah, yeah. And so even business school is like $500,000. We got it 2 for 1, 2 for 250,000.
But don't be scared to fail, because honestly, you gotta fail. You gotta
Mhm.
fail forward though. Don't fail backwards. Fail forward.
Yeah, and I mean, this cosmetology school, we learned a lot from it. A
It was,
lot.
it was a
What's
huge
one
lesson.
lesson that you think you're like, man, that really taught me this?
Not to jump in without doing a little bit of research first, because we like I said, we were hood rich, and we started getting better. We went through the spending phase. We
Right.
saved. We had a little savings, and we're like, fuck, this money's just in here. What do we do? And we kind of just dove in without knowing business. I think
Yeah.
I think now, like, we learn to research a little bit more before we do anything. You know what I mean? Not just to like throw money at the wall and expect it to fucking flourish.
Yeah. I think it was a lot of that. And I think it was a lot of me, like, I think I was ready to move on to something else. And I just didn't know what that thing was. And I've always had a love for education.
Hmm.
And so that's where I saw it going, you know? And I think at that point, too, there was some ego involved.
Yeah, definitely a lot of ego.
And I think at that point, too, we didn't know how to communicate. So the easiest thing for you was to just be like, okay,
Yeah, just
in a sense, like you didn't want the fight.
I didn't want the fight. I didn't want to. You were dead set on it,
Spicy.
and I didn't want to burst your bubble on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even now, it's still my dream, and
Yeah.
I'm still gonna do it.
And I wasn't fully on board with it,
Mhm.
but I went with it, and I did everything in my capacity to make it happen.
You did.
You know what I mean?
You did. You were working so hard at that school,
Yeah.
so it was time away from the kids. It was time away from me. Like I was so invested in it, but I just and honestly, it's like we were saying, you don't know what you don't know. So I didn't know what it lacked,
Yeah.
and now looking back at it. Now I think when we do open up that, and I don't want to open up a cosmetology school here. I think I wanna open up an esthetician school, and so that's what we're gonna do in a couple years. But I think now it's like, okay, don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
We are building up the credit first, the
Mhm.
business credit. We're gonna do that first.
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure the systems are in place. They're written down. The day by day procedural events will be written down for everybody. And so I feel like now the more control that there is, the more systems in place,
Systems.
the greater chance of it to succeed.
And I think
There is to succeed.
one of the big things was chasing shiny objects too. Like, because when you start being successful in one area, you start getting opportunities in other areas,
Mhm.
and you have money and you're able to throw it in different areas. But you should just focus in and harness in on what you're doing, perfect it, get the systems in place, and then you could like
There you go.
open up other avenues to revenues and stuff. But a lot of people get the shiny objects. It's like a cat. You were like a cat throwing yarn and just chasing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was there. But I think we both kind of did that, and I think we learned our lessons from chasing shiny objects.
Yeah. And then tying back into the people who really will be there for you in your life, like um we did get some loans from a couple friends which we paid back with like a couple of weeks or whatever. Cuz we were that deep. There was so many nuances to it. Like we had bought like $80,000 of equipment, right? This is just one example, guys, of like the amount of money that we
We
spent.
still have a shipping container full of the equipment
Yes.
that we're gonna use. We actually used it for our salon. Some of the stuff the salon we opened up, that's some of the equipment from the school.
Yeah, but we still have so much of it. right?
Yeah, we got a whole shipping container sitting full of equipment.
So I didn't know this, and you didn't know this, but these are the nuances that now we will learn.
Yeah.
So I had no idea, right? All this money was tied up with the school construction.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that when a shipping container comes in from China,
Mm-hmm.
right, it ports, and then the U.S. goes, hey,
Yeah.
there's gonna be $8,000 tax on that.
A port fee.
A port fee, taxes, that was $8,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, okay, well, my friend here, my friend Silvina, she's like, okay, use my card.
Yeah.
Super fucking grateful for it.
We
Super
have,
grateful.
We have some good friends that helped us along the way.
3.
Yeah.
We didn't have a few. We had 3.
Yeah. But still, they helped. You know.
Oh
like,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so fucking grateful.
And
to them.
it was hard to like go hand in hand and like have to ask somebody for to help. You know, that's fucking hard.
And then, so then the ship gets there, right? And they're like, okay, taxes. So we were like, we asked our friend Silvina first, and she was like, okay, you know, here's a card, dude. Like, as soon as I asked her, she said yes, and I was like, fuck, man, like, I was like, fuck, like, this is what they believe in us, you know. So anyway, so we pay the port fees, and they're like, okay, so how are you gonna get it from LA to Ventura, to the city of Ventura, which is what would you say? I don't know, 60 miles, 120 miles? I don't know.
40. Oh, no, to the port of LA, probably like 60, 70 miles.
So, guys, that is a $7,000 task.
Yeah.
You have to pay a special truck, right?
Well, they load on truck, and then you have to pay a crane to take it off. And
to put it on and take it off, because that same crane isn't going to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like a whole fucking thing that I didn't know. There goes another $7,000 or something like that. So we asked our friend Juan.
Yeah.
Remember? It was so much. It was so much. And then we were so close to opening. We were so fucking close. And we asked my bestie.
Misty and Alex,
man. I mean, they have been with us through so much. I mean, they're like
we owe them so much. Like,
yeah. We're family. Like, it's honestly.
But just having the faith and the confidence to do that for us, like, we can't repay that. We could repay the money, but we can't repay that. Like, I think, to me, I feel like we're in debt to them for life. And
that loyalty.
But I'm glad to be in debt to them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I would.
It's not even the money, but just like the fact that they said yes.
Yeah.
When we did ask family.
Oh, family.
And they were like, what was it? The very first thing that came out when we asked somebody that, you know, a family member, was like, well, what if you don't pay us back? I was like, fuck, dude. Like, you think I would do that to you?
Yeah.
Like, that blows my mind.
Well, it happens all the time, though, where people, like, take loans and they don't pay it back. That happens.
Yeah, but, you know, like, I don't know. It depends who's asking, but I'm telling you, that's what I think of you.
Yeah.
And so these other people who aren't our blood family were like, oh, yeah, sure. Like that, babe. You remember? It was quick. It was like a yes answer. Like that. And when you ask family, they're like, oh, no, let me want. But it's like, no, you cannot, essentially, you cannot be trusted.
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm going on a rant here because, like, I'm getting spicy.
You're getting sour a little bit. Yeah. But that's the way it is, though, you know? But, like, you had a dream and you begged, borrowed, and still did whatever we had to do to try to make that dream happen. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for us, but we learned so fucking much from it, man. Yeah.
And at this point, I wouldn't even say unfortunately, because I think it put us on a path where we are now.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like, I'm grateful that we're here, and I'm grateful that all these things happened, even if at that time they didn't feel so good.
No, they didn't feel fucking good at all. It was fucking rough.
Man, I remember when we closed down the Cosmo School, I was like, fuck, man. I remember I sat there in the truck with Misty, and I was like, Misty, my bestie, I was like crying. You know, it was hard. It was hard watching something that you thought that you worked so hard for, you know. I mean, there were so many other things I could do, but at the time I felt like this is all I know and this is all I could do, and it still failed.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, we failed forward. You move on and you fucking dust yourself off and you get up and you fucking just push through and figure out a new plan. You know what I mean? That's all you could do.
And I think that in all those failures too, we also learned better implementation of systems.
Yeah, we're still learning. I think
for sure.
I think when you're in business, just in life in general, you're always learning. You never completely know something, and if somebody's telling you they know something completely, they're full of shit. It's always a learning experience, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's and every business that you're gonna open is gonna have some kind of nuance where you like have to learn that particular business and that particular business runs and how that particular business will run with what you want to implement and how you want to do things.
Yeah, and everything's always gonna be take longer and cost more than what you expect. No matter what, it's always gonna take longer and cost more.
Yeah, we thought we had money.
Nah, we didn't have shit.
We thought we had money.
But
that wasn't real money.
Honestly, we what did we start with that fucking school? We didn't have the kind of money
it was like over time. I think by the time we broke ground, we had already spent maybe I want to say 40,000.
No, but how much did we have in the savings when we decided to take on that task?
I don't know.
It wasn't that much.
No, it wasn't enough to open up a fucking. And the thing is too, like we opened in California.
Yeah.
And it's the type of things we were set to make 1.3 on the first year.
Yeah.
Right. To make that amount of money, you're playing a whole different ballgame with a bunch of different people.
We were in over our heads.
And so I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that the laws for people at that point change. Like at that point, you get the county coming after your ass.
Yeah.
The state, the city, the like everybody comes after with their hands out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we weren't prepared for either. The port, the taxes, the county, the city, the state, everybody.
Yeah, I kind of, at that time, I kind of knew we were in over our heads, but like I said, I did want to burst your bubble, you know, so I just went along and like, fuck it, we're going to make this happen. I'm going to do everything in my power. But I knew from the beginning we were in over our heads.
No, and I kind of, I guess I didn't think about it that much, but I'm saying like, I didn't know all these people were going to come in with their hands out. At one point I was like, fuck, man, can this really done? But I saw it in my head. I saw myself walking through the hallways and I saw what it could be, what we wanted to implement, what it could be.
Yeah.
But I had no idea that in California, when the sharks smell blood in the water, somebody fucking fresh trying to get into the good old boys club, they're going to come after your ass.
Oh, yeah. They don't.
And so even after we left the state, we still had the fucking county trying to get money from us.
They're still coming at us trying to get money.
The state.
It's fucking crazy. And we're gone and everything's been paid and everything's been closed that needed to be closed and they're still trying to get money out of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was new for me.
Yeah. I was in construction, so I heard.
You heard the horror stories.
I heard horror stories and I knew how the cities and the counties operated. So I kind of already was, I was kind of already hip to like, fuck, this is going to be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and I hadn't dealt with that because the biggest thing that I had open was like a studio where I'm going to work here and then I happen to have space. So, hey, do you want to rent? Person that I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hadn't created a business. It kind of like started forming on its own, but I didn't even treat it like a business.
Yeah.
So for me, anyway, going from this is a place where I work out, where my friends at that time happened to work there too, to going to a whole a legitimate business that's an S corporation and it requires corporate meetings and it requires all these things. I wasn't ready for everybody else having their hand out.
But had we not done that and had not failed like that, like we still wouldn't know how to operate. You know what I mean? That taught us how to operate, taught us what we didn't know. And it was an expensive lesson, but like you said, I'm glad we learned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At this point, yeah, like I'm glad I learned it, and it's even though it's only been 4 years that we lost.
It's like 4 years now,
4 years.
I think. Yeah.
Like I feel like we're so much ahead. Not where we want to be, but so far ahead of where we were at that time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think now looking back at it now, or when you and I talk about it, like I can talk about it openly and freely, and I still get spicy sometimes, and I still get a little sour about it. But I can see the lessons in it, you know, and I'm glad that we had those lessons, even if they were fucking hard.
But it's like it goes back to like what do they always say? The fortune favors the bold. You got to be bold and be willing to fucking make mistakes and be willing to lose. You know what I mean? You got to put it on the line sometimes, and we lost.
Yeah. But
we learned, and now made us that much. It makes you faster, stronger, and smarter. You know?
Yeah. And you know what? I will fucking do it again. I will do it better. I will do it faster. It'll be cheaper. It's gonna be fucking perfect, and it's gonna be everything that we want it to be. because we failed first.
Yes. And this time I'll put the brakes on you when you need the brakes on.
You'd be like, girl, no.
Yeah.
I'm not changing that for the 5th time.
Yeah.
Like
for
you
sure.
do not need to have that there.
Yep.
But like, at least we still have some of this stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna use it. We have a plan and we're gonna use it. It's there.
So I think I think even now, before we even open the esthetician school, you and I will sit down a year ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
And like plan everything out
Mm-hmm.
and strategize and have dates for it and when, you know what I mean?
And I want to we'll have the money, the credit, everything in place already before we jump into it. You know.
I already have the building that I want. There's 2.
Yeah, you're right. I'm telling you, I gotta put the brakes on her all the time. We pass by buildings. Let's call the realtor. And like, no, we're
Let's
not
just
doing that yet.
look at it.
No, we're not even done with the projects we're doing. You're like, I gotta put the brakes on. That's a big lesson I learned. Put the fucking brakes on. Like,
you know what? Sometimes I need that though.
Yeah, you can have a runaway train and jump on that fucking runaway train because you're gonna crash. Put the fucking brakes on.
I'll give it to you. I can be like a bull in a china shop sometimes. You know, I'm just like, let's fucking do it. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking do it. And sometimes it's like, you know what? Let's talk about this first.
Like, I'm willing to speed up, but I'm putting my hands on the brakes, ready to fucking throw those brakes on.
Got you. And I've learned to respect that, and I've learned to know that I need that sometimes. But that building that we passed today, the one I keep telling you about,
it's too small.
For an esthetician school?
Yeah, I think it's too small.
I don't know. We should go see.
Nah. Not yet. We're a year or two before we make
probably
that
like
move.
a couple years.
Yeah.
That's why I keep telling everybody, like 2024 is going to be cool, but we're going to set up our systems and get everything in place and everything. 2025 though, is going to be the shit.
Yeah.
2027 is going to be great.
Yep. And then shit. That's fucking lessons.
There's so many more, but there's a few.
We'll hit on them in other episodes, but I think those are some of the big lessons we learned, and we learned them the hard way. And hopefully, you guys are able to hear that and kind of think about it before you guys make those. You're gonna fail, and you're gonna learn those lessons, but at least maybe it might be a bigger cushion for you guys. You know what I mean?
And I will say, like, even when it seems hard, just still fucking do it. Just go in accepting others people's advice.
Yeah.
But just fucking do it, dude. Because if you have a fucking dream, like it's so hard for some of us to just be like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do it. So like, if you have something you want to do, research the shit out of it. Don't lose your excitement. Like, go for it. Because you know the world is made of dreamers.
Yeah, and life's too short to worry about what other people think. Like, don't worry about if you failed. Who cares? Don't worry about what people say about you. They're gonna talk shit about you whether you do it or not. At least you're doing something and you're learning a lesson and you're moving forward. So don't worry about failing in front of other people. I think a lot of people have that issue where they're scared to do something because they're scared to fail and have people criticize them. They're gonna criticize you whether you do it or not. Just fucking do it. Just fuck them and do it.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah, don't worry about other people. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, I agree.
So on that point, we've been talking about our losses. What do you think your win is for the week?
You know what? So my win this week was watching you create that reel that you made today.
Oh yeah. So that's I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get up my cinematography, videography, whatever you want to call it, editing, and try to do something really good. And like I want to produce better content to put out there. And I'm digging in and trying to learn it. It's hard, but I really, really, really want to learn it. And I think I made my first video where I feel like, okay, it's on the right step.
Yeah, and I watched you create it, and it was so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So that's my win. What's your win?
Look at you.
I
now.
know. It's a hormonal week.
How am I supposed to win? Where do I come in with that now? Like, I
make it about yourself. Go ahead. It's a hormonal week. So everything's like making me spicy. Everything's making me cry this week.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks.
But next week I'll be back to my vampire self.
My win, I think, what did I say my win is? I can't even think just.
The same thing, probably.
Yeah, I think just digging into that shit.
You gotta, you really got into your creative side.
Yeah, and I have some stuff envisioned I want to do, and I just got to learn the process of doing it, and that's where I'm at right now. And like I said, I always feel good when I'm learning something and being productive, and that's where I'm at again this week.
And just watching you is awesome.
Watching you watch me is awesome.
Anyway,
I think that's it for the episode, and have a good holidays, man. Good Christmas. Have a good New Year's. Don't party too hard. If you catch us out there partying, buy us a drink because hopefully we get out for New Year's.
And if I'm like super shit faced, just ignore and pretend you never saw me.
If you see me carrying her out the bar, I'm not kidnapping her. She's just drunk and I'm taking her home.
And just make sure my dress is pulled down.
For reals.
All right, guys. Well, that was it for the podcast. We'll catch you guys in a few.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.